And welcome to the Unacademy live platform. My name is Arifa Zahir, and in today's class, I will be talking to you about a common speaking topic. Now, before we begin, let me tell you that the IELTS speaking examination is very clearly divided into two types of topics. One is a common topic that comes all the time, and the other one is in regard to different types of abstract topics, feelings, emotions, and also could be related to what's happening currently. Interestingly, today's topic, which is the latest news that you read in the newspapers or on media, print media, electronic media, is an amalgamation of the both. So let's get started and enjoy this process of doing speaking on this topic. So let's begin. Now, before I begin, let's have a look and see who are there in the class. There we go. Hi Vishnu, hi Rakesh. Who else is there in the class? Let's have a look. Okay, so we do have some new students in the class. Right. Urithra and Neha. Yes, I can see Vishnu, Rakesh, Urithra, and Neha. And let's begin, guys. So before I begin sharing with you my Instagram handle, just a second, let's get the pen color sorted. Yes. Let me share with you my Instagram and Telegram handle, IELTS with Arifa. If you'd like to connect with me, this is the place that you could go to and you would find me there. So both the modules there for you. And my referral code is BE Trainers. If you subscribe with this code on the Unacademy live platform, you will be getting a 10% off on the Unacademy website. And yes, why are we here today? We are here categorically because we are going to talk about this topic. But before we talk on that topic, yes, you are talking to India's top educator on the Unacademy platform. Before we talk about what we are going to discuss today, here are the 5 different types of subscriptions that you could avail of in order to attend these classes, because the free classes, also called the special classes on the Unacademy website, are basically classes that are on different topics, but they're not structured as courses. So if you are someone who's interested in doing an intensive course and getting a higher band score, then I would suggest you take a subscription. So the different kind of subscriptions are 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. You can already see that certain discounts already given out here. On top of that, if you would like a further 10% discount, please use my referral code BE Trainers, capital BETRAINERS. You would be getting a 10% off if you do that, and you get a discount on the final amount. For this one, it would be 6,075, would be the amount that you'd be paying, not the discount. All right. And why would you take a subscription? Because the Unacademy subscription allows you an unlimited access to all that is being shared on the system. So it could be from any educator, you would have access to it, and you could watch all the earlier recorded sessions and make the most of it. Learn from your favorite teacher, have a real-time interaction with the teacher. You can ask doubts in live classes, get your queries answered, and also get it clarified by the educators and limited students. And in case of videos, you could also download the videos and watch them offline. That's specifically for YouTube and not for the live platform. All right, so let's start off with today's class, and let's see if we've got anyone new in the class for now. So yes, no one else, so we've got our students. All right, let's begin. Grammar, lexical resource, fluency and coherence, and pronunciation all hold 25% each when it comes to the IELTS speaking test. A very clear mentioning about the fluency bit. It's important that you speak as much as you can on the topic. Do not digress from the topic, so that you can score the maximum in this section of the IELTS examination. Now, the overall score is definitely the overall of all the four speaking, all the four skills. So you can, very categorically, it needs to be mentioned that just doing good in one skill is not going to help you score marks in the examination. You would have to score well in all these skills. Now, the assessment criteria, in gist, is this: fluency, lexical resource, also pronunciation and grammatical awareness right there. So fluency, out of many other things, would include not taking odd pauses, avoiding redundant words, using linkers and gap fillers wherever you get stuck. On the lexical resource, using collocations, aware of the skill set to do paraphrasing, framing correct sentences, tenses, very important. This particularly is nothing but subject verb agreement. If you get that right, you would be doing well in most of your writing answer sheet and also speaking. And should be understood pronunciation in the whole time of the test. A high vasque, so it's very important to understand that if you're putting up a fake accent, or if you're trying to be speaking in a manner that you're not comfortable with, you wouldn't be able to use that same throughout the speaking test. So it's very important that you maintain a certain level of constancy, certain level of sameness all throughout the speaking, but definitely work on your intonation. This is what it means. Maintain that intonation to get a higher band score. What stress and emphasis, and do not overdo any accent right there for all of you. Now, vocabulary is categorically dependent on synonyms, associated vocab, and also giving a variety of, I would say, adjectives and adverbs which are relevant to the topic. Now, you need to understand that in the IELTS speaking examination, adjectives play a very important part. So, for students who want to expand their vocabulary, this is the thing that you should be focusing on. All right? The collocation, not everything is going about by grammar rules. There's also a colloquial way of saying things. So when words come together and they, mean something logical, we call it collocation. It could be 2 or 3 words which come together. Now, one thing that you really need to understand when it comes to the IELTS speaking test is collocation, vocabulary related to synonyms. All these help you with both uh, coincidentally both with lexical resource and grammar. So it's a good idea to expand your speaking knowledge and understand what is the requirement. And these are the points that you need to remember. And of course, my most favorite, linkers. Now, linkers play a very important part in the IELTS examination for writing, for speaking, for listening, especially in section 2 and 3 and 4, and also for reading when you are moving from one idea to another. So it would be a good idea to update your signposting language or linkers. Please note that I've already done classes on both of them. So there you go. More link is for all of you, the ones who haven't had access to it. Here is an opportunity for you to take a picture or a screenshot so that you can refer to it later. And language of opinion, which is very importantly used in part 3, so let's say, okay, part 3 of the IELTS speaking test, and also to some extent in part 1 of the IELTS speaking test. So if you're a student who is looking at updating your speaking skills, you would need to be good in all of these. Now, usage of idioms is something that is my duty to make you aware of. Idiomatic expressions are absolutely allowed in speaking. In fact, help you score a higher band score if used in the correct manner. But if you are a user of idioms, comfortable user of idioms, and you're doing it in writing, you would be losing your marks, because in writing it's considered informal language, but in speaking it's considered absolutely fine. All right, now let's begin with the speaking part 2 of this topic, common IELTS speaking topic. News that you see in newspapers, in electronic media, so all these topics. Now, one thing that I want to tell you before I move ahead with this section is, in this particular section today, I have spoken about basically just news. I've just picked up a general idea and expressed it, but this would be a lead into you using the different types of information that's around you right now. COVID-19, also healthcare workers, how they are being treated within the country, around the world, also, global warming, and also financial turbulence, or we could call it economic turbulence, which is happening all around the world. So now, in terms of the latest news, in terms of news which is in correlation to the topic, it would be a good idea to brush up your skills in regard to news, so that you are able to comfortably answer these questions. Now, a quick reminder to all my students, please be aware that the examiner would be looking for these type of answers, since these are burning topics right now around the world. Deforestation, how it's affecting the world, and also like the burning that is happening in the Amazon, the also the Australia wildfire that happened, and also what happened within our own country. So it would be a good idea, I would say, for all of you to update your general knowledge when it comes to what's happening around the world right now, because there would be some or the other question which would be correlated to it. And exactly, Sanjana, lockdown situation and hybrid cars, so electronic cars. So it would be a good idea to update yourself, guys. That's all that I'm telling you, so that you are absolutely in control when the topic comes and when you have to speak on that topic, because the examiners will be coming up with these questions, either either directly in the IELTS speaking part 2 or in speaking part 3, where they could ask you talk questions in correlation to the current scenario. So keep yourself updated. All right, let's move ahead. So of course, so what's the topic? I've already written latest news, and also what's it won't come as give us the latest news. It will come as something similar to this. Before you look at the vocabulary, have a look at the question. Describe an article you've recently read in a magazine or a newspaper. You should say the name. You should talk about what type of article it was, when you read it, where you read it from, and explain how you felt after reading the article. So it would be something similar to this. Or you could also get another question which would state, what are the current problems that are happening around the world? Describe the current world scenario. So what is the major global problem happening right now? Where did you read about it? Where did you hear about it? What are the details that you can provide, and explain how you felt after reading that or listening to it. Now, we are contemplating, we are being perceptive of the fact that this could come, but has it come earlier? in regard to a specific topic like a pandemic, like a COVID-19? No, it hasn't. Generally, IELTS speaking test is not very scientifically, very straightforward, because it is expected to be answered by people of all backgrounds. So, if it does come, it would be a new change, but it generally is not very scientifically, doesn't ask you questions that you would have no idea about. So the whole idea out here is just to keep yourself updated, because you could get correlated questions where you'll have to answer it. I hope that's absolutely clear to all of you. Now let's have a look at the vocabulary. So generally, when we're talking about newspapers, we are talking about uh, headlines, we are talking about captions, we are talking about letter to the editor, editorial, advice column, business section, international world news, special feature, comic strip, obituaries. Uh, so these are the different kinds of categories that you see in a newspaper, and that's the reason why that has been mentioned there. Now, more in regard to what could be as a part of it: circulation, layout, eye-catching, sensational news, proofreader, readership, attention grabbing, in-depth, direct quotation, hot off the press, fast checkers. Now, this is categorically, very clearly an idiomatic expression. Now, can anyone tell me, what does hot off the press mean? While we wait for the others to answer, let's move ahead and have a look at how it has been answered. Now, top news, exactly, Neha. Latest news, top news. So that's what it means. Yes, absolutely. Let's push this a little back so that I can see whatever you guys are saying. More significant, I know. Now let's move ahead and look at how this question has been answered, what type of article it was. I love to read newspapers on a regular basis, not only because it allows me to remain updated with the latest news, but also because it allows me to read some informative and interesting articles on various important issues. Talking about articles, of course, I would like to talk about one of them which I've recently read. Now, you can very categorically see, and I've said categorical today so many times, but you can very clearly see that whenever you begin a topic, you begin it with a general perspective and then move towards answering it specifically. Why would we do that? I'll tell you why we would do that. Because that gives us more meat to talk on, more material to talk on, and we can last for the whole 2 minutes. Before you begin with this, you would say, thank you for the given question, ma'am. Exactly what I've mentioned out here, the prototype. It is such an unusual, uncommon, humorous, funny topic, whatever is relevant to the topic, and mention that. The next part, when you read it, the article about how my country would be able to meet the housing demands of the ever increasing population of my country without causing deforestation and waste of cultivable land. Uh, so it's important to understand out here that the article is about how my country would be able to meet the housing demands of the ever increasing population of my country without causing deforestation and the waste of cultivable land. Now, this is very interesting. Of course, I had read such articles in the past, but none of those really went on to describe the crisis and its solution in as details as this particular article. Just telling you, this could be anything. It could be on COVID-19, it could be on global warming, it could be anything. And from here onwards, you could just pick up some from here and immediately put it into your answer. Because you can clearly see that this particular portion would be relevant for any topic. And this one is specific. But this portion out here, which is written really well, you could just pick it up from here and put it in any of your topics and it would work absolutely fine. So these are things that you should learn. You should pick up vocabulary and phrases which you feel would go for various other topics also, and then do it accordingly. Next, anyway, the article went to describing in details as to how rapidly our population has increased over the last 50 years or so. And yet no concrete and timely policy has been adopted to deal with this problem. And as a result, as the article put it, if this trend continues, our country won't have enough land to produce necessary food for its population, soon as more and more lands are being used to build houses and other infrastructures in a very unplanned manner. If you look at this, can you see, guys, this is a proper complex sentence and there's a lot of diversion in relation to the topic that has happened, not apart from the topic. So again, this is an opportunity for you to look at also a complex grammar structure which you can clearly pick up for you to refer. All right. And at the end of the article, the author of the article tried to provide some pragmatic solutions to the housing crisis of a country by providing enough raw data and evidence. Now, again, this is something that could be used for any of the latest news topics. So now what I'm talking to you about is not specifically one particular news, but approach that can be used for any news topic. You can just pick up certain phrases from here and clearly use it when you are doing your speaking on latest news. Needless to say, look at the lovely signposting language that has been used here, which makes it so easy to understand and express. Needless to say, I read the article a few times just to understand the danger and challenges that lie ahead of my country if you're not serious about this problem. Again, something that can be used anywhere. After reading the article, the first thing that came to my mind was that a government needed some concerted efforts to come up with new and innovative ideas in building efficient houses without wasting too much land. Besides, look at all the amazing signposting language, guys. Please use it. Look at how organically, how normally it has been used in this speaking material, and that is what you should aim for. If you are aiming for a higher band score, you need to be absolutely aware of what you are saying, and that awareness will come when you use signposting language in a harmonious manner in the IELTS speaking part 2. Speaking part 3 is more direct, but speaking part 2 you will have to amalgamate it in a more natural manner. And towards the end, I also felt that some practical housing policies are in place. The newspapers and other media outlets should publish such articles more often to raise awareness among the people. And you can see this particular portion again can be used for any of the topics. So I hope I have been able to help you with approaching latest news in the current environment in a particular manner. You always start with the general perspective, get into the specific, use language which can be used across the spectrum for any of the latest news topic. Keep a data bank of those type of sentences and then use them accordingly. And that's it. This has a full page on that. And before I end, let me tell you about the ultimate course on grammar that we are currently doing. Today evening will be a class again at 8 p.m. which would be, sorry, not this one, past simple, past continuous and present perfect at 8 p.m. So see you in my class at 8 p.m. on the live platform, and we meet again at 6 p.m. On doing the introduction to opinion essays on YouTube. So this is YouTube. Today I meet you again at 6 p.m. That would be our last class on the YouTube platform, and the live class at 8 p.m. for grammar. And right now, after some time at 3 p.m., we would be meeting for speaking. So see you on the Unacademy platform. Thank you guys and have a good day. See you at 3. Yes, bye.